Have you ever wondered what happens when an entire society starts to question everything it believes? Well, that's exactly what was going on in ancient India back in the 6th century BCE. It was this incredible backdrop for one of history's biggest spiritual revolutions. Today, we're going to dive into the birth of two really powerful philosophies that came out of this time, Jainism and Buddhism. Let's figure out what lit the fuse for this massive transformation. It's a huge question, isn't it? I mean, revolutions like this don't just happen overnight. They grow out of this widespread feeling, this collective sense that, there has to be a better way to live. This question right here is the absolute key to understanding why Jainism and Buddhism didn't just appear, but why they took hold and literally changed the world.
All right, here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll look at the why, that whole age of questioning that set the stage. Then, we're going to meet the two princes who walked away from their thrones to find a new way. After that, we'll get into the core ideas of Jainism and then Buddhism. And finally, we'll put them side by side and see how they compare. Two really different maps, both pointing toward a very similar, very profound goal.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture it. We're in 6th century BCE India. The main religious system at the time, Brahmanism, had been the standard for centuries. But, just under the surface, there was this deep, growing dissatisfaction bubbling up. So, what was the big deal? Well, for one, the religious rituals were getting super complicated and expensive, which basically meant if you were poor, you were out of luck. Society was also stuck in this really rigid caste system that you were just born into, no way out. And the holy books? Only the priests could read and interpret them. So the average person was kind of left on the outside looking in, with no real personal way to connect or find spiritual freedom. And right into this environment of spiritual hunger, two absolutely extraordinary people show up. And get this. They weren't priests, they weren't scholars, they were princes. Guys who had literally everything you could possibly want in the world.
And this just lays out their parallel lives so perfectly. On one side, you've got Mahavira, who would go on to become the 24th great spiritual teacher in Jainism, a Tirthankara. And on the other side, Siddhartha Gautama, who we all know as the Buddha, the enlightened one. I mean, look at this. Both born into royalty. Both made the unbelievable choice to give it all up to find a deeper truth. But even though they started from the same place, the paths they took to find enlightenment, well, they couldn't have been more different.
So first, let's follow the path that Mahavira carved out. Jainism is built on this core idea of purifying your soul to break free. And at the absolute center of it all is one incredibly powerful all-in principle. And that principle is Ahimsa. Now, this is so much more than just don't hurt people. It is a radical, total commitment to nonviolence in everything. Your thoughts, your words, your actions. For Jains, every single living thing from a person all the way down to a tiny insect has a soul and deserves to be protected. In an age where animal sacrifice was a normal part of religion, this was a mind-blowing idea. Okay, so how do you actually live this out? Well, Jains follow these 5 great vows. It all starts with Ahimsa, non-violence. Then you have Satya, always telling the truth, Asteya, not stealing, Brahmacharya, which is about chastity and celibacy, and last, Aparigraha, or non-possessiveness, learning to let go of all your stuff. It's a path of really intense, all-in self-discipline.
These vows are all part of what's called the 3 jewels of Jainism. You can kind of think of it like a 3-legged stool. If one leg is missing, the whole thing falls over. You need right faith, which is believing in the core principles. You need right knowledge, actually understanding them. And you need right conduct, which is putting it all into practice with those vows. You need all 3 to walk the path to liberation.
Now, let's switch gears to our second prince, Siddhartha Gautama, and see how his path took shape. So after he left his palace, Siddhartha actually tried the extreme stuff, a lot like Mahavira. He nearly starved himself, but he realized it just wasn't working. It didn't lead him to the answers he was looking for. His great aha moment was something completely different.
He called it the middle way. And this idea is the absolute cornerstone of Buddhism. The Buddha taught that the real path wasn't about indulging every desire you have, but it also wasn't about punishing your body and denying yourself everything. The key, he realized, was balance, this path of moderation right down the middle of those two extremes. The Buddha laid all this out with the kind of clarity you'd get from a doctor. These are the 4 noble truths. So, first, the diagnosis. Life has suffering in it. It's unavoidable. He called it dukkha. Second, what's the cause? Well, our suffering comes from craving things and getting attached to them. Third, the good news, the prognosis. There's a cure. And fourth, the prescription.
The way to end suffering is to follow something called the Eightfold Path, a whole set of practices for living, like right speech and right mindfulness. So, what we have here are two totally distinct spiritual systems, both born out of the very same moment in history. Let's put them side by side so we can really get a feel for how they relate to each other.
First off, and this is so important to remember, they share the exact same ultimate goal. Both Jainism and Buddhism are trying to solve the problem of samsara, that endless, painful cycle of death and rebirth that's driven by our karma. The final stop for both is liberation from that cycle.
But their maps for getting there? Oh, they are very, very different. Just look at the idea of the self. In Jainism, every single living thing has an eternal, individual soul called a jiva. Buddhism, on the other hand, teaches anatta, or no self, this wild idea that our feeling of a permanent me is actually an illusion. Their paths are different too. Jainism is all about intense self-discipline to purify that soul, while Buddhism is about the middle way to get rid of desire. And God? Well, neither of them really focus on a creator God. It's all about what you can do, not what some God can do for you.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? They both started from the same place, asking the same huge questions about life and suffering. They simply came up with two different and equally powerful sets of answers.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. You've got the path of radical ascetic purity, and you've got the path of mindful balance and moderation. Two philosophies born thousands of years ago, but their central question, how do we live a good, meaningful life, is as real today as it was then. In our crazy modern world, which one of these paths do you think resonates more?